Hello friends and welcome to Picture Astrology. In this quick snap video we will talk about placement of Rahu in the 5th house of a horoscope. And like many of the Rahu's placement, this is one more placement which is not quite ceremoniously dealt with in classics and can raise a lot of doubts in people's mind. And we will specifically look into how this placement affects children or your kids' progeny. Also how it affects your creative pursuits, because 5th house is the house of creativity, as well as your love life, because again 5th house in traditional Vedic astrology is associated with love life of a person. And we will deal with all these also because I get to ask about these three areas the most by people who have Rahu in 5th house. So here is a small story or incident which recently happened with me. So one of my acquaintance, he had a son, and in his 5th house there was Rahu. And this gentleman, rather religious, or I would say dharmic guy, and also interested in astrology, sort of got worried. And one of the reason for him to be really uncomfortable was he said that he had read in many books that Rahu in the 5th house of Purva Punya, classical Vedic astrology describes 5th house as the Purva Punya, which can be loosely translated as past life good karmas. So, he thought that since his son is born with Rahu in the 5th house, he would, lack a lot of good karmas, meaning he's not born, he's not got a soul with good karmas in his house. And to that, my first answer was that, see, Purva Punya basically means things which you get automatically, things for which in this life you don't have to work. And if that child is born into such a good home, such a great parents as that of my friend, then how can you say he is not born with Purva Punya? See, Purva Punya, or many people misunderstand this 5th house concept of Purva Punya or result of past life good karmas. And one of the first significations of this is birth in a great family, in a great home, or birth to a good parents, because that is one area of life which is completely out of your own control. So if you have good parents who have taken care of you, no doubt you are born with past life good karma. And that really made my at least friend or the guy I know feel very good. But yes, it is true that most of the classic books, they do say that rise of the person because of 5th house Rahu can take some time, and that is also observed in real life. So what this 5th house also means is how quickly you can gain things, how quickly you can reach to the top of the world, how quickly you can get success in life. And Rahu's position here in some places, in some times, can create some delay. And again, principle of that acceleration or catalyst, which I have described in detail in my earlier videos of Rahu-Ketu series, which you can refer, must be remembered. Rahu and Ketu cannot just generate result out of thin air. They will mostly be catalyst to what is already promised in the horoscope. So Rahu's presence, even though can cause some delay, will not topple whatever is already present in your chart. And another thing about this 5th house Rahu, especially in terms of creative pursuits or things you pursue, is pretty much like Rahu in 4th house, it also causes confusion in people's mind about what they really want to achieve in life. That confusion is generally not as bad as 4th house Rahu, but 5th house Rahu can also represent changes in your workplace or change in the area of your study. And this placement is also one of the factors which can show that you can get success in an area which is very different from your traditional study. Plus, What can be perceived as confusion by others can also mean the person could be interested in multiple things, multi-talented. And that would happen if fifth house and fifth lord has better aspects or placements. Again, remember the catalyst principle. And Rahu, in any case, if you look at my earlier videos of Rahu, it can propel you towards northward. It can propel your interest or creative abilities in multiple areas. And because of that, sometimes you may lack focus in one particular activity, and that can also contribute to delays. So if you have fifth house Rahu, in terms of getting higher position, in terms of getting recognition in your life, slight delays are possible. However, remember, Rahu, when it gives, it can give without any bonds. Rahu is breaking off all kind of bonds. Therefore, this is also very, very commonly seen that after some initial frustration, a strong horoscope with Rahu in fifth house gives a lot of name and fame to people. And we already talked about the fact that it can give you multiple and sometimes weird interest as well. So if you have this Rahu, try and pursue and master one area before you start with another, because that kind of confusion, or what now is called creative freedom, happens often with Rahu placement here. Now, another thing with kids, many parents who have Rahu's placement here, they come to me sometimes worried about, whether or not they will be able to get good children. Now, again, the principle of catalyst apply here very much. If you have Jupiter and fifth house lord well placed, then this Rahu will not trouble you in terms of getting a kid. Even with some negative aspect on this Rahu, what we have seen that some medical help, or many times it just shows a difficult pregnancy. So if say Jupiter is well placed but fifth house lord is not so well placed, and if there is any aspect of Mars, there are chances of a difficult pregnancy, sometimes even cesarean birth. But the main factor is Rahu alone in fifth cannot deny or should not make you predict negative things about progeny. It will definitely depend on Jupiter and fifth house lord. Now, another commonly occurring thing with Rahu in the fifth house is in a horoscope which has even little bit of spiritual bent, then this Rahu shows people with this placement, they get interested in some or the other occult sadhana. They are very interested in especially things like mantras, reciting mantras, doing some daily activities in pursuit of their occult goals. But what is known as mantra siddhi is something which this Rahu in the fifth house can often bless a person with. And I'm going to make a separate series of videos about what exactly are mantras and how practically they impact our lives. That I'll begin soon after completing the Rahu ones. So friends, this was my very quick analysis of Rahu in fifth house. I hope you liked it. Please do like and subscribe to my channel to continue to get updates like this. Thank you again for watching and hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.